It's another week in the For Your Reference household, and it's another rocking around the festive Christmas tree, OT. I would prefer to be in Queen Latifah's Christmas-themed film, but here we are, friends and lovers. These films you don't have to debate, and we do have an episode that you can go and check out. It's a Wonderful Life, OT's childhood, which explains a lot.
How does it explain a lot?
Happier Season, Single All the Way, and also Black Christmas we covered as well. Yippee-ki-yay! Let's get on with the show. Happy friends and white knight lovers. Welcome back to the For Your Reference podcast. You got your host, Katie.
And Dottie.
Deck the halls with cake threats, one-liners, and walkie-talkie man feelings. Set off the explosives powered by international friendship and glass shards of marriage with Die Hard this week. Ooh. Spoiler, 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 mistletoe, mistletoe, mistletoe. And don't worry, friends and lovers, our first theme is whether this is a Christmas film. Let's get into general stats and information. Director, we have John McTiernan. This is based on the novel by Roderick Thorpe. In regards to writers for the screenplay, we have Jeb Stewart as well as Stephen E. D'Souza. It was released in July of 1988, and this film was just dripping 80s. Was it not? A budget of $28 million and a worldwide gross of $141.6 million, OT.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow.
The fact that we're actually covering this during my favorite time of year just shows how fucking tired I am. You wore me down, OT. Let's get into first impressions. How do you feel? Is this something that you've watched at like the back of your hand? How are you feeling now?
I feel good. I've watched this a lot, and it always just, it's one of those things to me. It just gets better with every rewatch. And I enjoy it even more. The ridiculousness, the cheesy one-liners, the man feelings. What's not to love?
Well, I did tell you near the end of watching this film before the recording that this was made for men that need to go to therapy. Like, when are we going to stop avoiding the clit therapy, friends and lovers? That's what I need to know.
How else am I gonna get experience? Oh man, I love you, bro. We all love you.
And everyone else loves you, man. It's like you can talk about your feelings as long as you put it around testosterone.
Yeah, and I'm there for it. But I really enjoyed it. Even watching it now, I think I've lost count of how many times I watched this movie. It's one of those things that's been a staple yearly, And even when we've been together, the first time that I got you to watch this, I was so excited by it to bring you into the fold.
No, thank you. I'll go to therapy and process my feelings like I should.
This moment of bringing is screwing things up, man.
Yeah. From one cult survivor to another, right, OT? How are your priests doing?
Oh, wow. But what can I say, man? Like, it's one of the most festive times of the year, and Die Hard is always just there. It's the equivalent of Bloody Mariah.
I wouldn't.
It is.
I would not.
When you think of Mariah's All I Want for Christmas, and you're thinking of what's the equivalent to the movie, it goes to Die Hard immediately.
So is the tagline, all I want for Christmas is man feelings. That was some fucking simp shit at the end where they finally, after, fucking around and talking on the phone online, and then they met IRL. Bruh.
And it was even better in person, wasn't it?
Process your fucking feelings, man. Is that it? Is that all for your first impression?
Yeah.
Not much substance, just like this film. Ew.
Wow. Wow.
I think I watched it for the first time a couple of years ago, yeah? I think we might have even had the For Your Reference podcast like created at the time, but I was like, nah, I'm not covering. Friends and lovers, we do cover a lot on Patreon that we choose not to do on the main feed. However, I will say, watching it again, that there are some Christmas notes in this film, more than I actually gave it credit for. But I also reference Die Hard a lot, especially when we talk about like long-suffering characters, like crawling through Die Hard style, trying to get through some character development. The one-liners, oh, they killed me. They killed me. I was like, if you say one fucking one-liner about this menial observation, I'm gonna throw the table.
It's the best thing about it.
Again,
the cheesiness.
You know what, OT? If you like it, I love it. Not really, but I love that for you. You know? This film was very much Michael Bay minus the American flags and minus the toots.
Wow.
Although for some reason, Holly Gennaro's top just came undone for like one scene accidentally.
Yeah, as they should.
But rest in love and peace and power, Alan Rickman, because the charms are undeniable.
How good was he in this?
Oh, he'll get his own section. Don't you worry, OT. One more snippy thing to say about this film. You don't need to do any Google searches, friends and lovers. I will do your Nicki Minaj ball swollen research for you. The biggest import out of the US is snarky action heroes in blockbuster films.
I see that.
Just wow.
I thought they already got your king of snarky Aaron Sorkin.
Snark and Sorkin. Well, let's get straight into the themes, OT. And I think we can definitely put this one to bed once and for all. Not like whenever I say this is the last time I talk about White Lotus and then I keep talking about White Lotus. Sound off. Christmas movie, yes or no? And feel free to elaborate.
Yes, it's a Christmas movie. What makes a Christmas movie? It's based around Christmas, check. There's festivities, check. What more do you need for it to be a Christmas movie without it going the full Hallmark treatment?
I would say the plot needs to be integral to Christmas.
It is. He saved lives so people can go home to be with their families during Christmas.
He did not love his family, but don't worry, I have a separate theme for that.
You can't turn off the light, the whole grid. It's Christmas, man. What more do you need? Every decisions that are being discussed, be it by the FBI, or John McClane as a character, was it's Christmas time, bruv. Let's do it for Christmas.
Yeah, I guess so. I think in this open source of entertainment world, you need to be open to the idea that perhaps your opinion is just your opinion and other people can also have them. I'm not saying it's to the level of Ariel is black, therefore my childhood is ruined. But it's like, if someone doesn't think this is a Christmas film, then it doesn't ruin your childhood or whatever sort of non-therapy process feelings you project onto this film, yeah. But again, I will concede there are more themes than I would snidely try and dismiss. They even had Christmas songs in the background and, that sort of thing. So fine. But, it's not all it is.
It's more than that. And I think that's what makes it even better.
I wonder what the count for terrorists was in this.
Oof.
I actually don't even care to say whether I think this is a Christmas movie or not.
But since you're recording a podcast, I want to hear your opinion.
Nice try, Johnny O.T. Cochran.
Put on that glove, bro.
If the men feel, you must not reveal, eh? I actually don't care. Like, I will jump into other forums and fight, but I actually don't care. Feel free to come and fight me, but I'll probably fight you on other things.
Fair enough.
I want to talk about the action in this film.
It had some pretty good action scenes. You get your dose of ever so often, you don't go a moment without feeling as if there's a moment in which it's not full John Wick 3 or anything like that, but its action moments are quite good, especially for the time.
So you're saying it doesn't give you time to process your feelings? It's just action.
No, there's a lot of feelings to be felt. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more action than your average movie, but it makes sense in this. What made it a bit weird rewatching it or watching it again with you right now is that how much I noticed this stunt double for Bruce Willis.
I don't think I noticed that either. And maybe, I don't know if the word is refining, but I think when you start having a podcast and you meaningfully discuss film, you start to pick up shit like that because it got to a point. What was your indicator, OT? And I guess this is closing any opportunity to talk to Bruce Willis. But what was your indicator that you could tell off the top that it was the stunt double and not him?
The thick hair. Yeah, it was so obvious, but it didn't take away from anything. It was just more like, stunt double. Doesn't take away from anything because I don't expect Bruce Willis to do that.
Yeah.
Unless it's Tom Cruise. I don't care.
Wow, you're really bigging up Tom Cruise. We have not covered Tom Cruise.
No, Tom Cruise goes out of his way to make sure people know that he does his own stunts. So if I see a stunt double when he's cried so much, I'd be like, bruh, come on now.
I enjoyed the action, you know what you're getting into. It's an action film and I was enjoying it. I just wasn't enjoying the classic one-liners. There was something about when they were in the boardroom table saying, make sure that they're dead. And then John McClane is like shooting. He's like, thanks for the advice. Fuck off. I couldn't handle it. All of these bloody lines were just getting in the way to any sort of, not even splooshing, just any sort of enjoyment from me. But I acknowledge that that's within myself, that I do have a higher barrier to entry with these sort of genre films. But I really enjoyed the action, even seeing everything just blow up. There was no expense spared in regards to the actual effects and blowing shit up. I want to spotlight Hans Gruber, essentially Alan Rickman. I want to talk about how layered this performance was. And it's kind of like, not to say everyone else were jokers in Black Panther and even Wakanda Forever, but having Lupita on the cast really brings that grounding and that gravitas to the whole performance. Like it essentially elevates the whole film, right? And I felt that with Alan Rickman in this film.
100%. He is so good, man. Like his performance alone, if you take Hans Gruber out of this movie, I don't think it remains as good as it is.
Well, you take Hans Gruber out, it's just Woman King, right? Because there's no enemy.
Well, you've got the other terrorists who bloody do shit all.
Yeah. A very international Mr. Pitbull, Mr. 305 worldwide sort of crew they had.
Yeah, true. He was just amazing in this. I think the one qualm that I had was him not turning the photo over when he saw it the first time. Because he saw it, was like, all right, whatever. I'm a curious motherfucker. If I see that, I'm like, what's going on down there?
I did say that. I'm like, it's not a big plot hole, but it's like if he had taken the time to just like turn over the picture, right? I get that, but that doesn't overshadow the performance that he brought to the film.
No, not even. Not even. One of the things that I just loved about his performance is how nonchalant he was about it. He just went on very cold-blooded. I'll count 2, 3. If you don't tell me, I'll shoot you.
Unless it's John McClane and he doesn't shoot him a million times.
Yeah, true that. Yeah. Those multiple opportunities for different guys to shoot John McClane where he stood. And they're all just pussyfooted around.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Speaking of pussyfooting, I want to put my whole pussy and my whole foot inside of their marriage. Thoughts?
At least we get to see John McClane admit he was a dickhead.
Yeah, but what does that do?
It shows growth.
They were living apart for long enough that they had separate lives. The fact that she needed to see if she needed to get a spare room because he's not sleeping in the room with her, right? That's how long that they've been apart and they've had their qualms, quarrels, and quandaries. So no. And OT, do not, again, go to therapy. Don't take that out of this rule book. You can't just save a skyscraper full of people and then I'm going to forgive your ass.
What does it take for you to forgive someone, if not save your life?
Process your man feelings without walkie-talkies.
He processed it. He processed it with Al. But
even Al was like, tell her yourself. And it's like, why are you telling Al? Why are you doing this heroic gesture?
It was more tell her yourself because you're going to live, not tell her yourself because I don't want to listen to it. Hey.
Well, I think there was a deleted scene of Al saying, and can you tell my wife why I've been such a shitty husband?
No, clearly he is a shitty husband. He's been a shitty husband. And even when I told you the first thing that when it got to Nakatomi Plaza and the wife was super excited to see him.
Yeah.
And then he started opening his mouth.
He ruined it.
And he just ruined it.
Yeah.
I was like, right, all he needed to do was just keep quiet.
Yeah.
Don't say a word.
Gross. Like, disgusting. And again, unfucking fortunately, even in the 2020s, there are men and partners that harbor these sort of traditional gender roles. You know, we're acknowledging that even for the 80s, like, this was kind of on tempo for the temperature of traditional sort of gender roles. However, just personally, it was disgusting. And you're right. He shouldn't have said anything. He should have just stayed there washing his little garments and just like be it with it. It was gross. He made it feel like she was doing like a little hobby and she's like exec level at this company.
One of the other things was that he admitted that the fact he only allowed her to go was because he knew he was going to fail.
Okay, but I also don't like the way you framed that he allowed her to go, but I'm acknowledging that you're describing the characters in the film and that's not how you feel as a man.
Oh, are you coming for everyone? Hey.
It's a diehard trap.
Like you can see he has issues, but what do you want in a movie if not to see character development, which is what we got with him?
Because he started at a deficit, that's why.
But it was still growth, right?
Well, and I guess, you know, OT, because you've watched the other sequels, I know it's been a long time. I skipped right ahead and I watched the one with Jai Courtney. Apparently, I've got a lot of Jai Courtney Spartacus tax. Mm-hmm. But can you recall from the second and subsequent sequels, did they end up having a great marriage? Because I doubt it.
Yeah, probably not, man.
Exactly. Then doesn't the court rest, Your Honor?
It can rest, but you have to judge by what you see and what's been presented. And what's been presented is John McClane knowing that he's a shit person and he's accepted that and is going to do better.
Okay. I feel like you're saying some of the things that are correct just to hide the terrible things that you're also saying as well. But friends and lovers, shame on you if you thought we were going to spend more time talking about action and not talk about the marriage dynamics of these two.
Mm-hmm.
I think his machismo was very useful for the vehicle of the film. But him as an actual character, like, he was doing it for his ego. He wasn't really doing it to save all the people, was he?
Nah, I can't agree with you there. He did it because, first and foremost, the mother of his kid is there. I don't think, if you take Holly out of the picture, I don't think he puts as much effort into saving everyone. Yes, he's a cop, he's duty bound to do that, but that's what spurred him.
He's a bit of a thrill seeker by nature, so I feel like he would either way.
Yeah, he would probably, but it spurred him even farther when he felt like he couldn't continue, you know? Tell Holly I love her. You know, that moment right there, that's what I've got to do this.
But the heroic gesture isn't saying shit like that when you think you're gonna die. The heroic gesture is showing up every day when it's fucking hard. That's what the heroic gesture really is.
Yeah, tell that to someone who's never been faced with death like he has. They'll be like, oh, the heroic gesture is to say that when I can show up every other day, but when there's a gun pointing at you, people trying to kill you left, right, and center, for you to have the nerve and the frame of reference and mind to be like, hey, there's more important shit that I want to take care of in my life. That's what counts, man. In that moment of need where you feel like it's all hopeless. Yeah. That's the toughest time to be reflective. Not any other Sunday.
Okay. Again, it's been a long fucking year, friends and lovers. Like, I don't agree, but I don't care enough to fight you hard. I don't know, man. Like, it just... Obviously, it's not the through line of all of the sequels. So I guess no one aside from us in this current recording actually care whether they have a thriving and keyword healthy sort of marriage. But I thought it would be interesting to discuss it here. But it seems like you've got an answer for any sort of observation, OT.
As I always do.
Would you say that this film, and may I be so bold, may I be controversial on the podcast, OT?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that this film falls into the genre of propaganda?
It's not SVU level.
Change his occupation? Change even his race? Does he get to yippee-ki-yay around the building? Probably not.
I don't think his occupation is what gives him the skills to do what he does.
So you're saying it was all finesse?
Yeah, I can't fault it. Usually,
I would reference Whiplash. You know, if you know how to play the drums, you're not bleeding. If you're bleeding while you're playing the drums, you're doing it wrong. So I would apply it to Bruce Willis, John McClane. Like there were some fumbles there. Like I wouldn't necessarily say he did it without blemish.
I don't know what movies you've been watching where people don't get hurt while trying to save other people. Actually, maybe you've watched too many Steve Seagal movies that you're like, that's how it's supposed to be. But no, at some point, Steve Seagal needs to be punched a bit. His movies were just bloody ridiculous. He walks in fresh as, walks out fresh as at the end of the movie.
Like as he got older and he couldn't move around as much, or always?
No, always.
I've never watched Steven Seagal. Maybe that should be on our list.
Yeah, no one ever touched him. It was ridiculous.
Okay, since you've known me this long, do you think I would like his films or him as a character?
I think you'd like the ridiculousness. I'm not sure watching it now how they'd look like, but I'm game if you are.
Okay, all right. Mark it in your calendars, friends and lovers. There'll be a Seagal Spectacular coming out sometime. I want to give a shout outs to Paul Gleason because I love Breakfast Club, and you'll notice we haven't covered the Breakfast Club, and that's OT's fault. But now that I've conceded and watched your Die Hard, we're definitely going to do Breakfast Club soon.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Gleason plays the very, very mad, very finger-wagging sort of authoritative figure that he does in Breakfast Club as well as Die Hard. And I thought he was a lot of fun.
I thought it was shit. All the times I've watched it, I don't like him as a character.
So did Roger Ebert.
He didn't like him?
Yeah, he gave the first Die Hard film a low rating because of this character.
Because he was annoying as. He was really, really annoying. He's one of those people who they've gotten there because they know someone, nepotism, anything other than bloody skill got him to that position.
Wow.
It's facts.
I just like seeing him mad. Like some characters you like seeing mad. You like Samuel L. Jackson, and I like seeing Paul Gleason get mad.
I don't know about Steven.
Check out our Django episode, friends and lovers. And I guess while we're here as well, this isn't the first Bruce Willis we've done.
No.
Pulp Fiction. Go and check out Pulp Fiction. We did a whole Tarantino toes. He was serving a lot of toe, Bruce Willis, in this film.
Yeah.
Wriggle your big Bruce Willis toe, am I right? I want to talk about like some weird sort of racial moments in this film. Friends and lovers, I think I might have mentioned it in the Nope or King Kong or both review episodes. There are films that are films in every sense, and some people may even call them masterpieces. However, they are not immune to being weird racially, right? And, I said it, you would be hard pressed to find, people covering Godfather and mentioning the little glitch in time where they talk about black people in a very derogatory sort of way, right? And in this film, there was some instances in there, like even with like the Japanese businessmen was a bit weird here. There was references to Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know which jab in which direction, but it was interesting to see the way it happened in the film. But I think the weird sort of racial, very if you blink you'll miss it moment was with that fucking reporter.
Mm-hmm.
How he he strong-armed his way in, threatening to call immigration if she didn't let him in.
That was fucked up.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think for a lot of, ethnic people, they'll see that and it was one line, but they'll remember it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't have the luxury of forgetting that because I'll remember that. I'll probably reference it in 200 episodes' time.
I don't doubt it.
I want to finish off in talking about the heist in my best Rick voice. You son of a bitch, I'm in.
It was a well thought out plan.
Yeah. I think this was the most effective heist we've seen.
He thought out the plan of how to open the vault using the FBI playbook and all that, which was quite interesting, So it wasn't like Money Heist the professor level. I wouldn't say that.
I think Hans Gruber is top tier, and then El Professor is somewhere like minus tier.
Hey, put some respect on the professor.
Bruh, he went up to a police car and put his fingerprints all over it. Unless they don't check for fingerprints in Spain, I don't know.
Hans couldn't kill one person. He couldn't get away because of one person. It's like the Scooby-Doo gang. I would have gotten away if it wasn't for you, pesky McLean. Nah, come on now.
Better than the Harrison Ford Scrappy-Doo Air Force One action.
Yeah, there's no denying that. But it was well thought out. I think the only bit for me was he couldn't control his crew. Carl's brother died and Carl just went off the ledge.
Yeah.
He was like, revenge, I'm going to do this. And this is one of the things that I always say. If you're in the game like this, you've walked into the building, you've already killed a couple of people, and then one thing happens to your guys, the relationship doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah.
You went there knowing the risks. You've killed people already. Don't you think those people have brothers as well?
Yeah.
Or uncles or fathers? Fucking hell. Take it in the chin. Go execute your mission and you'll cry later.
Yeah.
Don't sabotage everything.
Yeah, and I think it was also Pacino and Heat. Like, have no collateral if you're going to get in the game.
Yeah. Just be better.
Yeah.
I think that's where Hans could have been more calculated or called, because he knew immediately that Carl would have an issue.
Yeah.
I would have just taken him out. What value did he add at the end of it? Nothing.
He became an outlier at that point, yeah. Interesting. But I would say the crew that he kept were quite skilled, though.
Everyone else was quite skilled. It was weird seeing the Theo was taken out with just one punch from Argyle.
Yeah. Argyle has those cute manicured nails. Like, he's never seen a hard day's work in his life.
And he knocked out someone.
Yeah. How?
Theo needs to evaluate his career preferences.
Well, like, Argyle needs to be like a pro wrestler because I don't believe he could even jump to the window to like punch him.
Man, one punch, him standing outside of the car and Theo was out.
Yeah.
Come on now, man. Do better. Be better. Or else get out of the game. What the hell?
But Theo was very skilled as well.
He was skilled in what he did. He didn't give us the 50 Cent sort of hacker vibes, which was good. That's the bar, man. That's the bar. 50 Cent hacker. Are you above that? You pass.
It's a low bar.
Mm-hmm.
It's a petty bar. All right. I guess we're slowly compiling a list of skeevy Asher type characters that throw people under the bus at whim. I want to talk about Ellis.
Oh, wow. He is a ridiculous man.
I think he thought he was an American Psycho. Like, he was in the wrong movie.
He thought his shit don't stank. Oh, I'm a business negotiator. I deal with businesses for a living. I can handle this shit.
Yeah.
If I was McLean, I don't even think I would have tried to rescue him. I'd just been like, okay, bro, good on you. I'm not giving up. You do what you do.
Are you the equivalent of Billy Porter? You just choose who and when you want to save people?
Yeah. How else are you going to tell them my house is on top?
I guess.
But I think that was the most satisfactory sort of death in the movie.
Yes.
I was like, oh, come on. Cathartic to the core.
Yeah, I agree. Because I was like, he needs to go. He needs to go in the most vicious, brutal of means, but he needs to go.
One of the deaths that I didn't really like was Takagi's death.
Yeah.
Because he knows what's up. He knows these guys are dangerous.
Yeah.
He knows whatever's in the safe doesn't matter. He was like, give them reasons why they can't get to the safe.
Yeah, let them figure that out. And I think
point,
Hans said that.
Unless you own that fucking company, unless it's not even then, You have fucking insurance. It doesn't matter. Just give them.
Yeah.
What's this tough guy attitude?
Yeah.
Why you gonna die for someone's bonds?
Yeah.
Ugh, it was so ridiculous.
Or maybe it's toxic masculinity. He'll go home and his wife will be like, why didn't you try and save them?
Save the bonds compared to my life?
I guess.
Ugh. If your wife is like that, you better walk away.
We're not doing this, Kevin O.T. Samuels.
What is our podcast if I can't give the best relationship advices out there?
Pay for your own marketing. You won't spread your toxicity on this podcast, OT.
But it was wild. I was like, come on now, man. You're going to die for nothing.
Idiot. There's something I want to say in regards to the high/terrorist. I don't feel like, even if they didn't use the word terrorist in the film, I don't think the ethos or the driver from Hans Gruber and the team, I don't think it was compelling enough. Maybe in an action film, you don't need to dig that deep. However, it was distracting to me because even though Hans Gruber was very efficient, it wasn't necessarily clear to me what the leading sort of motivator was.
Yeah, I guess once they label them terrorists, there was an expectation that their motive will be something more than money.
Like altruistic.
Yeah, but it wasn't. They were just there for the money, which is fair enough.
I guess it's interesting because the director, John, talked about how initially he was a bit put off by taking on this film because of the heavy sort of subject matter. So he watered it down. But that don't make sense because you kept calling them terrorists, but they were just there for money.
Yeah, even everyone seemed disappointed, including the cast. You only did this for money? Everyone said that. Holly McClane, they all said it. Fucking money?
But it's interesting because now when you look at the tapestry of cinema, there are so many summer blockbusters that center around the theme of terrorism. And it does go to those depths of levels. But maybe in the late 80s, it was too early.
Maybe so. Maybe it was a victim of its time. Maybe we could have gotten a Die Hard with, deeper themes. Then again, I can't fault it for what it is. I think it was quite enjoyable watching it as a kid and understanding everything.
So you understood everything as a kid. Does that speak to your intelligence then or now?
Both.
Well, your humor exceeds stratospheres, my love.
No, because movies that you're watching as a kid and I couldn't understand, or I thought I understood it until I rewatched them now and I'm like, oh, wow, what the fuck? So I'm glad that what I remember as a kid is what I know now. So
propaganda for babies, am I right?
Propaganda for babies.
Ooh. Thank you, friends and lovers, for joining us another week in the For Your Reference household. We're going to finish off in a segment we call For Your Reference. OT.
I'm going to reference The Sixth Sense because we've also covered it on the pod.
Oh, very nice, OT.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to reference an action-packed men still not processing their fucking feelings, Tulsa King.
Oh, wow.
Well, if you want to talk about fractured family dynamics, it's absolutely there.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to talk about our fractured FYR dynamics on Twitter and Instagram, we're at ForYourRefPod.
Write us an email at hello@podcast.com.
We're also on All I Want for Christmas is Man Feelings podcast if you'd like to leave a rating and review. And we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.